Yo, and we're recording. Welcome everybody to the DQ&Q Lifestyle Podcast. I swear no, that's when I said DQ&Q Lifestyle Fitness. Ed's gone. Mental crisis of a week, don't forget about that. Anyway, we're going straight in with a recommendation. We're going straight to the Jersey club ting. And this one is DJ Slink, Break from Jersey / Girl with the Tattoos. And Slink is spelled SLIINK. Well, it's a bit quiet. Whoa. That sounds really quiet. Anyway, that's that one. We've got Drake Sticky, DJ Slink, Slink again, actually. Shady, on back. Hello, I'm just gonna get flipping. They're just gonna copyright whatever it's called. Just forget it, innit? This is DJ Slink again. Brent Fayez, Jackie Brown. Only been few hours, but it feels like days. Only been days, but it feels like months. Yeah, the thing's hard, you know. Oh, what's going on? Hard as nails. Anyway, I'm gonna get struck. This is DJ Smalls. Oh, I didn't even say what the other one was. It's gone now, forget it. DJ Smalls 732. Smalls with a Z on the end. This is Forever. My Neck, My Back 2.0. Yo, I'm gonna get copyright strikes all over. Oh, this isn't what I wanted. Last one. Where is it? I did have all these queued up, like, believe it or not. That's the too fast version, but it's that tune still. The tune's nails. Let me bring it true for you. So this one's called I Know by Lumiere. I'm assuming it's Lumiere. Lumiere. I Know. PR1SVX remix. Yo, listen, hard as nails. Anyway, back into the thing. That's my recommendation. Jersey club music. Check it out. Britney Spears, Dancing with Knives. Have we seen that? Go look on Instagram. I don't even know what. I'll tell you now. I'll tell you exactly where you can go see that. Come, I did see of it. Hey. Shade Room. Go check the Shade Room. It says authorities reportedly performed wellness check on Britney Spears after she posted video dancing with knives. And it's mad. I don't know if that outfit is something that she wears, like some kind of like croppish top. I don't know. It reminds me of some like Daisy Dukes type thing, and then some skinny ass like just some knickers, regular knickers. You know what I mean? And panties. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just that's why I've seen a few videos. I didn't realize it was a different video. I didn't check the knives. I didn't see the knives. I'm not against knives. I don't see knives. Do you know what I mean? Now some people don't see colour. I don't see. Just moving the mic. I'm one of them. You know what I mean? The knife man don't see knives. You know what I mean? Anyway, what else we got there? 15-year-old girl stabbed on the school bus. R.I.P. Do you know what? Actually, I do want to play something. Right? Instagram again. I swear it's on Instagram. It's not. It's on RTM. It's on YouTube. It's on RTM podcast, Young Sprays thing. And it's something that's by Mike GLC. Mike GLC says it. Is it a video or short?
So now we wake up again to another senseless killing.
R.I.P. to Ellie and apologies if I got that wrong still.
Which don't make any sense. And like, the more I watch these things, the more I'm seeing, like, not even more, we know what the problem is. We know about, the knives and the kids and the music. We know about all of that. But there's some things that I just think that people ain't correlating together. Like, how does a teenager end up stabbing a young girl in the neck on the way back from school? It's not like it's in the hood. It's not like it's beat. There's a girl out there that's active, running up and down, doing what they're doing. They're outside the man. They've been with, there's girls like, there's things like that happening in the hood all the time. But these things don't correlate. Like, and what I'm trying to get to, it's not real. Like, these kids are being given this environment which isn't real. And I can guarantee, well, not guarantee, but I can more than assume that most of this is based around embarrassment. That the girl said something to the youth, and the youth's embarrassed.
And this is one of the things that I've been saying. I think it was on the Mahak Bakari, the TikTok girl that murdered. Well, it wasn't. Mum and her didn't actually murder someone, but they kind of orchestrated it all. If it wasn't for like the preceding events of them bringing people down, etc., then it wouldn't have happened that way. Do you know what I mean? Where the two young lads lost their lives. R.I.P. to them young guys. And the thing of embarrassment, like her mum seeing one of the young lads, they're like in their early 20s, obviously she's in her 20s, the Mahek Bakari. So the mum obviously is older. Seeing these young lads, she wants to break it off. He's gone on a mad thing or something, say, listen, I want the 3 bags that I've spent on you during the relationship or whatever. Then they've concocted some plan to lure them, because he's got some, I think he's got some videos, some sex tape videos or something. They're like, yo, listen, come down, we'll give you the thing, get some car park, gone down there, met her. No, they've come in now, the 2 lads have come in, and they've seen another car full of man. So they've just shut off, and then the other car full of man that they've brought down the Mahak to like get these guys, they've chased them, and then the car crash, fireball, people are dead. So worry is not letting that sex tape get out, not letting that information get out, that she's been with one of these young lads or whatever. I don't know if she was stepping outside the marriage. I ain't really looked into it like that, if I'm honest, but the embarrassment of it all, and how like we're emotional beings and we're driven by our emotions. They're the motivation. So the motivation for that murder was not really particularly the fact of the shame and the basety of the basety means like shame kind of thing. In like Urdu, Pakistani, Punjabi or something, one of them. I think it's Punjabi. But anyway, so it's not really the sex tape, it's not really the money, it's not really the fact of like with these kids. It is, but if we was emotionless people, if we were robotic and we didn't have these emotions, then we wouldn't be like, the logical mind wouldn't allow you to, because you'd be like, what? Try and kill these guys? Like, that don't make no sense. But the feeling overpowers the thought process. Do you know what I mean? It's so when you're just on, basically like when people say something like low vibration, I think everyone interprets it differently. But for my understanding of what low vibration is, that's when you're operating within the feelings. You've embarrassed you this and that. You need to get that sorted, like boom. So we need to get it done. So this couldn't get any further. Do you know what I mean? It's like collateral damage control, whatever. Yeah. And but if you get into like the higher vibrational, which is the higher thinking, or like higher thinking skills, enhanced thinking skills, just using your thinking skills and thinking, right, this is a consequence to it. This, what is going to happen? Obviously, there's going to be a new normal. Like she might get divorced. The parent, the community might look at it in a funny way. Friends, family, like what you're doing with this kid, whatever it might cost them, whatever. But these options, move out, just grin and bear it. Take the beating if it's going to be a beating of some sort, even if it's not. I'm not talking about domestic. I'm talking about like whether it's like from like one of the females or whatever. Just what these options. That mean could go to police. These options. So yeah. I believe it's the emotion. I have listened to this once before, by the way. So that's why I thought I'd bring it in, because it links into what I was saying about the motivators, the drivers.
And that's the point I want to make. That's the point. It's like the environment that these kids are growing up in. Things like embarrassment, things like, being human no longer exist. Just like I was saying to someone the other day, when you look at even, say, for instance, our music, most of our audience aren't coming from the situation that the kids are coming, the actual artists are coming from themselves. But yeah.
There's on about that as well, about like the Gangster Tourists. There's people that's like, they've got no trauma, there's no reason to go on like so, but they are for some reason. There's something going on there, do you know what I mean? Like they're not, and the traumas that I'm on about is, like I said, they're not raised how man's raised, but they're becoming what man are becoming without the pre. Do you know what I mean? Without the pre stuff. I don't mean pre as in look. I mean without the stuff that's happened before. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no reason to like it's. But yeah, obviously there's reasons. He's giving you a reason now. Do you know what I mean?
Their rhetoric and their comments and their views would dictate what these artists do, or again, what the environment of our culture is. So now this now leaves these youths to live this unrealistic way where they can't take embarrassment, they can't take checks, they can't take any type of, so if you've got a clever gal who's got a clever mouth, are you gonna, well, I can't take, and then we're gonna end up here. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what's happened, but I've got a strong feeling it's probably down them lines around that. But again, situation.
But yeah, even if it's not specific to this instance happens a lot. Like even with my crime, like not my crime, but with the two instances that I went to prison, it was embarrassment that spurred me on. Do you know what I mean? I've never been able to cope with embarrassment. Like who can really cope with embarrassment? Generally, a lot of the time, yeah, it depends as well, because there's two different things that I've realized is embarrassment and humiliation. What my understanding is embarrassment is generally something that you've kind of half done yourself in a little bit. Like you've just say you was like walking and you tripped up a little bit, not even tripped fully up and landed on the floor. Like you just like kind of like stood like, oh, do you know what I mean? And people see that, do you know what I mean? Or whatever. You might have slipped a little bit or whatever. But if someone tripped you up, then they're like humiliating you. Do you know what I mean? Like I think, to my understanding, embarrassment is kind of something that we kind of do to ourselves. And then humiliation is kind of what's been done to us. But whether that's true or not, yeah, that's how I go by it, yeah. Google it, I don't know, let me know. But that's what I go by. When it comes to that is levels as well. Embarrassment, humiliation. Humiliation will be worse. If you're saying, oh, I feel embarrassed, it's possibly humiliation that you're feeling, because I believe that that's a deeper rooted, not deeper rooted, but that's like it hits deeper and it's way bigger than embarrassment. No, it is. It's like, no, it might just be me quickly. But like the lock screen's like mad. But if you lose your phone, you hope it's on lock screen.
Situations like this aren't real, because it's not. Of course, they're real as far as kids are dying, but kids are creating situations that shouldn't exist. And then
the Gangster Tourists thing I'm talking about.
And they're creating environments that shouldn't exist. Kids shouldn't feel like.
Look back at the Gangster Tourist video, part 1. And there's another 2. It's not part 1, part 2, but it's Gangster Tourist 1, Gangster Tourist 2. And then there's also the Mahek Bakari. Just for context, sorry.
You need to be active on the way to school. Like that anyway. When we grew up in school, there was a set of kids that were active, but they weren't active on the way to school like that. There was, there'd be a certain set of money we might, section off after school's finish and go do whatever they're doing, but it weren't like that. So I think it's like, the problem is, until we start making the youth realise that living like this is trampy, until we start embarrassed, until we start make the youth know that, you see the way you're living, that's not how real niggas live, bro. Because right now, this is how real niggas live to them. But that's not how real niggas live, stabbing kids and girls on the way to school and all that. That was never in the playbook. So like, until months really start embarrassing them, because we made like situations that are embarrassing normal, bro. Like the Savage Pack attitude, where there's 20 man holding down or like chasing down one man. That was never the makeup. We come from walk downs and all that. So like just this whole kind of trampy savagery way of thinking. Like life's real, conflict's real. But this savagery, trampy way of thinking, we need it out of our culture. And the music and the people that aren't from our culture are inspiring this even more so, and helping this and guiding this. But that savagery, that tramp way of thinking, that, a life's worth nothing way of thinking, there's no gangster in that. There's no real in that.
And yeah, so not much longer left to this now. But just quickly, the music situation, which is saying, which I've mentioned Joe before, there's even like an episode about on music that I've done already, early days, to how it makes me feel, how it dictated my behaviour. I think it's called Music Dictates My Behaviour, actually. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, anyway, so it is something that I believe is real. Like if you take away like culture, I don't think a lot of people understand what culture is. So for me, culture is basically like, so how do you understand that there's someone else of a different culture around you? Do you know what I mean? It'll be from like how they speak, how they dress, you know, what they're eating, what music they listen to, what they believe in. Do you know what I mean? Like all these certain like core things. So then it goes down to like, well, how do we dress? What do we listen to? Like, forget what we eat and that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's these. Then it's subcultures as well, which is like obviously there's the overarching culture, which will be like British culture because we're in Britain right now, and then there's like the subcultures. So you've got like I've mentioned it before, like your emos, you've got like your roadman thing, you've got your this, your that, your your goths or whatever. I don't really see goths no more. I don't even know if they're even about or if it's evolved into something else. Because just like how people that were in the road thing before, like in the 90s, for example, used to wear like baggy things, Carl Carney, rated to. Now it's different. It's the tech fleece, the tech. You know, the night ticks and stuff and all this, that and the other. You know how it goes. Like, so it changes slightly. So it's a similar thing, but it ain't baggy like that no more. It ain't whatever. So yeah. And then these cultural things have an impact on how people think and behave. So let's just say, I don't want to get too into it right now. I think it's something that possibly should have a conversation with somebody else. But we'll see how it goes. But like cultures that excel more than others, because not all cultures, academically, I'm talking. And even I guess criminally, like in terms of less crime or less of certain types of crime, or maybe it's the same crime, but like I said, it's less of. Do you know what I mean? Because the culture's not the same. The culture doesn't promote it like this drill thing, this road thing. It's just promoted to death. It's promoted to death. Like it's just everywhere now. I couldn't believe when I went up north to that prison up north. Yeah, I didn't really know how north I was going, but I know I was going up north somewhere. I knew it's getting white. Like there's nothing against it, but it means less multiculturalism, less use to people like me. Racism, more prejudice. It's worrisome for a person like me. Yeah. Went up there and I'm expecting this mad music to listen to some like bounce, bounce, everybody bounce, 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 kind of thing. Yeah. Went up there, bruv. I'm hearing drill. I thought the jail was still. Listen, at one point there was like, I think there were 250 men in that jail. Yeah, there was about 20 Asian man. Yeah, 20 Asian man, like couple Pakistani, couple couple. What is it now? Not Sri Lankan. Couple of them Tamil type man. Is that Sri Lanka? Bengali. Couple Bengali man. Couple Pakistani man. I don't know if there were Indians there. There might have been like one seat. Yeah, there was an Indian. What was his name now? Singh. Hard as nails, Singh. If you know Singh in the prison system, he's got a piece of hair that goes so. Inshallah, my man's out. Inshallah, Singh is out. Because Singh, man, we'll talk about Singh next one. And I was the only black guy. And I'm mixed race. I come down, I go past like the white boxers, the Asian. I go past the black boxers and I take mixed white Caribbean. So I'm not even black, but I'm black. I'm blacker than this phone to them, and I'm blacker than what I'm wearing up there. I've had this conversation before, but I was in a different jail. So it's not even like it was the makeup of the jail that was pushing the music. These men are listening to that music, man. These men were cool. Nothing was anyway. It was all unfounded, the thoughts. Not all of it, but it was less prevalent. Less prevalent than I thought. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, so it's just everywhere I'm seeing. I couldn't believe that they're listening to this over their traditional music. Bounce, 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 or whatever, yeah. So yeah, my GLC is done now. We're not even going back onto that. I'm going to keep this pod short still. I'm just going to focus it on this. I'll do the rest of what I was going to do today. I'll do it on the next one. But yeah, so just how these feelings, this is my point. This is the whole point of the podcast, that how the feelings dictate the behavior. So just because we do these things doesn't mean we have to do these things, because we can feel this feeling and go down this route that we always go down. If it's a positive, if it has a positive outcome or a not very negative outcome on others, then go down it by all means. But if the option you're choosing has a negative outcome for yourself and others, so just say me now, when these men are embarrassing me now, or this man's embarrassing me and I'm breaking him down differently, and like he's on some next kind of reconstruction, like he's mash up, and I'm going to prison, that's a negative for him and a negative for me. Even if I dodge prison, do you know what I mean? Still left him with a negative, do you know what I mean? So there's other ways I can deal with this thing. Do you know what I mean? Because for one, the thing wasn't even my beef. It's me protecting people. I've got this thing with protecting. I had this thing with protecting people. You know, the ones there. But I realized that like it doesn't get me no further. These people find themselves in trouble all the time. So why am I protecting this person that doesn't protect themselves? They should be shielding themselves from these situations, but they don't. They keep walking around, eyes wide open. They're not walking blindly into the situation, not knowing what going on. These people are walking into these situations knowing fully well something could possibly have gone, because for one, they're that guy. They're that guy that gets slapped up. They are that guy that gets the mick took out of them. Do you know what I mean? Like when they come around bigger dogs. So either stay around smaller dogs or stay away from the dog them altogether. You know, there was there. There's options. So it's like go to the bigger dogs, get ripped up. Go to the like smaller dogs where you can rip man up, or you just choose not to. Or go where there's no dogs and no one can rip up. You know what I mean? When I say rip up, I mean this embarrass the you know the flows how they go. But don't step around where, you know, you can get come out of the lifestyle. Don't go there. There's options. Like, don't go there. This is England. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, you can start put lippy on, put some dark clothes on, listen to some sad music, you're a goth now or emo or whatever. You can do that. There's nothing to stop you from doing that. Do you know what I mean? Don't keep rolling around the ends or whichever way this bad man be and become a victim because of your own choices. Like, how about don't go there? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so that's what I've realized. Like, once again, like the higher thinking skill, like the higher reasoning, like forget how I feel. Like, so obviously, I'm taking it on as embarrassment if it's family or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, these men are knocking my name. You know, them ones there. When it's nothing to do with me. Like, really and truly, I had to detach. What I call it is the hive mind. Just imagine like a big brain. And my brain's connected to this big brain. And every other hoodman, whether they're in chef, money, less, but anyway, these hoodman, we're all connected to this big hood brain. There's another brain that's a goth brain, and another brain that's a fucking posh brain, and another brain that's a fucking whatever, yeah? Upper class, middle class, them man there. I don't know what the other subgenres are within white culture, do you know what I mean? Like, they're all, every brain's there, but I'm hooked up to the hood thing. So what happens in the hood and all this and that, it does bother me, it affects me because I've got a way of thinking, I've got that way of thinking. So I had to detach myself from this way of thinking. So just so when them things there happen and I'm around man that's still hooked up to that brain, they'll all be thinking, you like all of them uniformly, like be like, yo, why aren't you dealing with that? Because that's the mindset that they're all hooked up to. Do you know what I mean? If you don't want to disconnect, you don't disconnect. You stay there. Right there. Didn't want to laugh on this pod because it's serious. But yo, man are moving mad, bruv. Man are moving mad, bruv. No, the one's there. Yo. So yeah, that's it. Just don't, it's all about, so then again, it's like I said, so what do you do? Let's scrap all that, yeah? Moving forward. So that's what happens. So that's that bit. That's the issue. That's what happens. That's that bit. So then the bit we need to focus on is what do we do? I feel like I'm doing something with this pod because I'm trying to like enlighten people. I'm trying to get people to understand there's a different way of doing things. You know, the ones there. Like there are options out there because like I said, I was hooked up to that and I'm hooked up to a next brain. The DQ and Q brain. Come get hooked up. Hello. But yeah, so it's like the solution. So he's saying take it out of the culture. You have to embarrass these men because what is embarrassment doesn't make people... Embarrassment fixes people up. It's social shame. Embarrassment. So that's why a paedophile don't walk around fucking... Them and Mr. Soft back in the day. Oh, Mr. Soft. The Tree advert. My man was walking down the... You know what I mean? That's why a pedo don't walk around like that because it's socially shameful. You don't tell nobody. You know the ones there. Or even within your own family. If you're trapping or something, they said people can't keep it round. You can't, because it's just going to be either buried out or they might just cut you off. If they are giving you money, like whatever, they might cut that off or, not saying you need that money, but I'm just saying like, you know, they might cut you off. Do you know what I mean? So it's a social shame. They don't want you around. And even if you man them, so just say like you're on some beef thing and they certain man not backing it, you might just cut them off. Obviously you might broke them down still, but cut them off. So then like there's a circle that we're all in and you want to be as central as you can. And the shame pushes you further to the edge and you'll do anything to get back in. And that's why it's dangerous as well because these men are doing the mad thing to stay as centralized as possible because this new circle that's coming around, this like drill thing, whatever, this like new youngsters lifestyle. I feel like an old man just because I can imagine like when I was like 15 to 20, some fucking 30-odd-year-old, 40-year-old talking or whatever, 50-year-old talking about, let's keep going with the ages then so you can't tell I wrote because I'm in my 20s. But anyway, talking about my generation, the good, like what we need to do. No one's there, but yeah, I don't care. It's something that needs to do. I'll always stay on this path. I'll always be pushing positivity. I'll always be pushing change, change. Because it's not even about just like sitting on being a goody two shoes. It's about like providing almost like a backbone structure for our communities so that we can start and provide our education to our people. And by our people, I don't mean like black people or white people or Asian people. I mean people like we that grow up in a circumstance like we, in a situation like we, you know what I mean? Because we're all one at the end of the day. Like even like people, yeah, man, like we need to have our own thing, conserve our thing. We need to be some form of conservative. And I don't mean that in we need to be them because they conserve for themselves. You know, the ones there. So they look after themselves, and we need to like look out for ourselves and look after each other. You know, the ones there, and looking out for ourselves by looking after other people, because I don't want to get too far away from it. But yeah, so he's saying basically shame them to get it out of the thing, so I can see where it's coming from. Do you know what I mean? But it's also like, you know, there needs to be education there, man. There needs to be education, and not just education in terms of like your maths and English and this and that. I mean, but like, we need to educate ourselves on what is out there. How do we change? Do you know what I mean? What are these feelings? What other options are there? What opportunities are out there? What skills do I have? Even if I am trapping, even if I'm a roadman, even if I am whatever, what skills do I have that I can apply to something else that works for me? Like even if like my skills just make me a delivery driver, when I'm out there delivering, I'm delivering the wickedest. I'm the wickedest delivery driver. You know the ones there. Like it's just my skill set, the way I can logistically think. Even if moving up the ranks, team leader, manager, the regional, like your logistical skills. Because when you're trapping this and that, or even if you do go into like the army, your like battle skills from the roads, you're taking it to, or whatever. Just for example, you know them ones. Like what skills? Trust me, man. It can be done. It's just knowing what's out there, and what fits us. But we can't. If people don't advertise, then we won't know. But if we don't look, we won't know. You know the ones there. Like God gave us wisdom. Do you know what I mean? He gave us the ability to think. Gave us the ability to look. Do you know what I mean? Like we can just do the easy thing and just do what others do. Do you know what I mean? And think that we're not a sheep. Like I say, we're not a sheep. Like, but you're just doing what everyone else does. Like what? You talk about certain situations, but other than that, you burn, you smoke, you drink, you fucking go to the same place, same clothes, buy the same clothes. Like there's a drawn and every other way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's what you doing? What you talking about? Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I've got a pod on that as well. The Andrew Tate thing, like new religion, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, that's it for now. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like this, keep it real, keep it raw. It's Marcus, it's DQQ Lifestyle Podcast, it's a salute, and it's me, gone.